Azpilicueta. See already from the first minute that Chelsea are going to want to keep the ball and put as much pressure as they can on Crystal Palace. It's just a case of how Roy Hodgson's men manage that, and when they get their moments in attack, they've got to use all the traits that they can in terms of Ayew and Eze down the wing, getting some pace against this Chelsea defence, and of course Benteke and Zaha. Once Zaha gets on the ball, there is always a chance that he can get something out of nothing, but it has to reach Zaha in the first place as Chelsea look to try and get forward again. Mateo Kovacic's pass is blocked by Jairo Riedewald, but Palace don't keep possession. It's back with Antonio Rudiger now for Chelsea. It's Thomas Tuchel's men looking to try and build again here with a long diagonal ball from Mateo Kovacic out towards the right-hand side, taken down by Hudson-Odoi, breaks into the penalty area, finds Pulisic at the edge of the area. He tries to get past Joel Ward. Ward bumps Pulisic off the board. I don't think there was any suggestion of a foul. The ball's back at the edge of the area now with Jorginho. Now Mateo Kovacic out towards Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side. He goes back towards Kurt Zouma and Antonio Rudiger in midfield. As Chelsea quite happy to just keep the ball. No real urgency here from Palace yet to press out too far. Just quite happy to sit back and soak up this early Chelsea pressure. Jorginho now looking to find Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side. He does, takes down first time, looking for Mason Mount, who hits it on the run. And that one is over the bar. It's quite an elaborate attempt there from Mason Mount, really. There wasn't too much happening inside the penalty area. Havertz had already sort of wandered almost into an offside position at the edge of the 6-yard box. So from where Mason Mount was stood, it probably seemed like the best option to get a shot away. It is over the bar. 5 minutes gone, independent of Chief Studio Commentary. It's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 0. And just to remind you, we've had 2-1 scores in the Premier League so far today. A real surprise, real shock at the start of the day with Manchester City losing 2-1 home to Leeds United. And the real shock there is that Leeds took the lead. And just a moment later, they were down to 10 men. For the whole of the second half, they had to play with 10 men. City got an equaliser with around 15 minutes to go, and then Leeds still managed to get a late winner with Stuart Dallas getting both the goals. So really a very impressive performance from Marcelo Bielsa's side there, just further confirming their Premier League status. I think it was already pretty much a done deal anyway, but that just really solidifies them in mid-table. And then Liverpool getting the job done against Villa, but it wasn't easy. With Villa taking the lead against Liverpool, then a seemingly very good equaliser for Liverpool ruled out with more VAR antics before Liverpool got the job done in the second half, winning 2-1. And Chelsea in possession now with Jorginho, but his pass towards the penalty area. He was looking, I think, for the run of I think it was Mason Mount that he was trying to pick out with that pass, but it was always a little bit overhit. No chance for Mount to get on the end of that one. So Vincenzo Gaeta can restart play here for Palace, who haven't really had any possession over the halfway line. They barely had any possession inside their own half in these first 6 minutes, but it wouldn't have come as a shock to Roy Hodgson's men. They knew they were going to be in a position where they were really going to have to fight for the ball today, as a long clearance from the goalkeeper is won straight back by Chelsea, by Kovacic specifically. Now it's Chilwell down the left-hand side. His pass is stopped by Luka Milivojevic, and Palace are in possession here down the right-hand side with Wilfried Zaha, who's back towards Joel Ward. Under pressure, so he goes back towards Kouyaté. The ball is now with the goalkeeper Vincenzo Gaeta. Long ball towards the halfway line, headed up in the air by Christian Benteke. Loose ball goes down to Aberi Eze. His pass towards the edge of the area is overhit. He's now back with Cesar Azpilicueta at the edge of his own box as Chelsea look to try and start possession inside their own half. In these first 7 minutes, the possession stats at 86% for Chelsea, just 14% for Crystal Palace. Certainly Palace will be hoping that that shifts slightly as this first half progresses, but right now they are just sat back trying to soak up this early Chelsea pressure. It's now with Kurt Zouma on the halfway line to Mateo Kovacic, back to Azpilicueta. It's with Hudson-Odoi down the right-hand side. Doesn't get too many starts, Hudson-Odoi. He's going to take this opportunity today as the ball comes in. It's a really good ball as well. Pulisic with the flick on inside the 6-yard box. That's either been saved by the goalkeeper, it might have even flicked off the post, but we'll see the replay in just a moment. Chelsea keeping the ball alive here with Kai Havertz. He goes back to Mason Mount. Now Hudson-Odoi finds Havertz, breaks into the box. Havertz with the strike, and it's in the back of the net. It's a good finish from Kai Havertz. He had too much time on that right-hand side of the penalty area, and it's a really well-measured left-footed strike right in the bottom corner. And Chelsea take an early, well, they've been promising to do so since the first minute, really, with the amount of possession they've had just at the edge of the Palace penalty area. You see this one, oh, it's a save from Gaeta when Pulisic hits that one on the run. But it might have flicked off the post, but it's a decent save from Gaeta, but then Palace couldn't clear their lines, and Hudson-Odoi finds a good ball into Havertz, who's able to turn, take 2 touches, set himself, and get a shot away with no Palace player really ever getting close to him. So certainly the defending there from Crystal Palace left a lot to be desired. Havertz just wanders into the box. Nobody ever gets close to him, and after that he's got all the time he needs to finish the move off very smartly there with the left foot. So it's been a bright start from Chelsea, and now they've got a goal to show for it after just 8 minutes, and it's Kai Havertz getting the start up front today with a really good finish, although Palace will be furious with themselves for the defending. It was a ball put in from the right-hand side, and it was Pulisic to hit it first time, well saved by Gaeta. The rebound ended up at the edge of the area, and it was played back to Hudson-Odoi. He threaded a ball through to Kai Havertz, who had nobody around him. He had time to take a touch, take another touch, set himself with the left foot before sending a curling effort into the bottom corner. So Palace certainly could have done more to try and avoid the goal, but it was a really good finish from Havertz, who has the start today. And it's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. Here come Chelsea again now. Ball played over towards the left-hand side, taken down by Ben Chilwell. The pressure goes back towards Mateo Kovacic. Now it's with Jorginho. It's Antonio Rudiger joining the attack as a midfielder like he likes to do. Chelsea right back into the box again. Oh, it's a strike from Pulisic, and it's in the back of the net. Chelsea have a second goal inside 90 seconds. What a finish that was from Pulisic. It seemed like the angles were all against him there, but he's managed to get it right into the top corner, and Crystal Palace have got to wake up here, because Chelsea are absolutely running riot inside the Palace half. And we've not had 10 minutes on the clock yet, and Chelsea are already 2 up. As this move starts with Antonio Rudiger, finds Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side. He threads the ball through to Havertz. Havertz into Pulisic. Tight angle, but he really hits that one into the top corner. Just with the almost like a toe poke, but with a toe poke with purpose there. Really smashes that one into the top corner. No chance for the goalkeeper there. Really good finish from Christian Pulisic. And Chelsea are already in a very comfortable position here, and Palace have really got to try and do something, because as I say, it's been a great start from Chelsea, and Palace barely able to get on the ball. And the ball now go back, of course, there was that game against Liverpool just before Christmas where Palace got completely run ragged, and they've got to be careful that something similar doesn't happen here, because certainly the signs are not good. Chelsea have turned up here with a point to prove after that game last week. Thomas Tuchel made some comments about how if that same match was played 100 times, 99 out of 100 times, Chelsea would win it comfortably. And he was really quite boisterous about that defeat, so he wanted a response from his players today, and so far he's certainly getting it. So just a minute after Chelsea took the lead, they've doubled their lead, and it was a move that started with Antonio Rudiger joining the attack in midfield. He played a pass out towards Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side. He then found Kai Havertz, who turned provider this time, just playing a short ball in towards Pulisic, who hit it first time. It's a really good strike as well from Pulisic, getting it right into the top corner from a tight angle, giving Vicente Gaeta no chance. But Palace have got to wake up here. There's too much space for Chelsea inside the Palace half. The home side has sat back very deep, encouraging Chelsea to get forward, and Chelsea are getting forward. It's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 2. And it's Mateo Kovacic on the ball now. Around 40 yards out from goal, plays it to Antonio Rudiger. With Palace being sat as far back as they are, Rudiger might just have to become a permanent midfielder in this match, because he might not have too much work in defence unless Palace get a grip of the ball at some stage, because Chelsea are moving forward again here now with Jorginho. Goes back towards Azpilicueta. Now it's with Hudson-Odoi. Short ball towards Mason Mount. Now back with Jorginho, who rolls it back towards the halfway line. It's Kurt Zouma now to Antonio Rudiger, down towards the left-hand side for Ben Chilwell. He's been closed down by Joel Ward. Ball back on the halfway line now as Chelsea to try and build again in midfield. Jorginho finding Kai Havertz. Ball played towards Mason Mount under a bit of pressure, just rolling the ball towards Ben Chilwell. Played back to Kovacic. Now Antonio Rudiger. Even Benteke and Zaha are forced to... you can actually see Zaha there beckoning his teammates forward, which is a bold thing to say. They're not in possession, Palace, but Zaha saying, come on, let's push out a little bit further. I think there's just a little bit of nervousness around that Palace defence now, because they've already conceded twice inside the first 10 minutes. So I say encourage them to push forward now, although I can see what Zaha's saying. Obviously, he doesn't want his teammates to get too bogged down. They're already 2-0 down, so they don't want to start defending a lead. They've got to try, defending a deficit, I should say. They should actually try to push out if they can, but they're just not able to get hold of the ball. As Zaha back at the edge of his own area, trying to get the ball off Jorginho, wasn't able to. But now a loose ball is picked off by Joel Ward, and Jordan Ayew's caught in possession. No foul. Michael Oliver says play on. So Chelsea still in possession as that ball is played over towards the right-hand edge of the penalty area. He won't get through to Hudson-Odoi. Wilfried Zaha then loses his balance, or was he brought down? He looks towards the referee expecting a free kick. Not sure if he has been given the free kick in the end. In fact, it wasn't. It was just a throw to Chelsea. The stats don't read well for Roy Hodgson. He's lost his last 6 games as a manager against Chelsea. And certainly the early signs are that could be a 7th by the end of this evening. Still very early, of course, and if Palace were to just arrest this kind of non-stop possession that Chelsea have at the moment and get some possession in front of the Chelsea goal, get themselves a corner kick, let Zaha or Ayew get forward and Eze get forward. I've hardly mentioned Eze in the game so far. He's barely been able to press and actually get near the ball, let alone actually be in possession. But there are certainly players in this Palace team that can cause Chelsea some problems, but not if they haven't got the ball. It's stating the obvious, but right now Chelsea really are dominating possession, still in the 80s in terms of a percentage. It's ball now with Antonio Rudiger, square to Cesar Azpilicueta over on the right-hand side. Is it square by Mason Mount? And here is Hudson-Odoi joining the attack down the right-hand side. He skips past Patrick Van Aanholt, puts a cross in, and Havertz was waiting at the edge of the 6-yard box. Crucial header away there from Cheku Kouyaté, putting out for a corner kick. But this has still been a blistering start from Chelsea. Not even got to full 15 minutes on the clock yet. Chelsea are 2 up, and they're still trying to push for more. Slowly arriving inside the penalty area now. And slowly but surely, seeing the big men coming up from the back as well. No surprise to see Kurt Zouma and Antonio Rudiger inside the penalty area. Both of them could certainly be a threat from a set piece. Just waiting to see how this corner kick is going to be taken. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Ben Chilwell towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Rudiger tried to go for it. It's headed away by Gary Cahill. It was quite a brave header from Cahill as well, because he had to sort of dive where Rudiger was putting his foot, but the ball is now on the right-hand side. Chelsea still trying to get forward as Ben Chilwell tries to force a corner there off Van Aanholt. He was still over on that right-hand side after taking the initial corner, but on this occasion it deflects off Mason Mount, and Chilwell couldn't keep it in place, so it is out for a goal kick. But we can see Thomas Tuchel really has got the layers on. Probably is a bit of a surprise to him. We are in mid-April, but of course snow falling all over the country. It is bitterly cold, as we can see. 81% possession for Chelsea, 93% passing accuracy. Shots, 4 shots from Chelsea, of which 3 of them have been on target. Palace haven't had any possession inside the Chelsea half, so needless to say there have been no shots on or off target from the home side. Long clearance now down the left. I think it might have just gone out of play actually, as the ball now goes back. I think it was just a little bit too much on that one from Patrick Van Aanholt. In fact, the ball had just gone out of play. Camera just quickly focused on Wilfried Zaha and Christian Benteke. Say 2 of the most dangerous players here for Palace once they are in possession. Meanwhile, it is Chelsea moving forward again. And here is Jorginho sending a ball out towards the left-hand side. It was a bit too far away from Ben Chilwell. In any case, it's back with Chensei Gaeta. Long clearance now from the Palace keeper, headed on by Christian Benteke, but the loose ball won't get through to Wilfried Zaha. Chilwell now back to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic sending a crossfield ball over towards the right-hand side, taken down by Callum Hudson-Odoi with Jorginho. Plays it back to Kurt Zouma. Antonio Rudiger, short ball to Mateo Kovacic. 17 minutes gone. Depending off Duke Studio commentary, it is Palace 0, Chelsea 2. Early strikes from Kai Havertz and Christian Pulisic. It's with Mateo Kovacic just inside the centre circle. Jordan Ayew now pressing on Kurt Zouma. He was just hurried into his pass, but he's still able to get the ball out towards Cesar Azpilicueta. Now it's with Havertz. Goes out to Hudson-Odoi. He goes back towards Kurt Zouma on the halfway line. Chelsea starting again, but there is purpose in that Chelsea possession today. You can see they are trying to get forward and to try to be that little bit more direct, as quick clearance needed now from Joel Ward. Ball at the edge of the area. It's now with Ben Chilwell, just waiting for his teammates to get into position. Chilwell sends it back towards Jorginho. Now it's with Kurt Zouma towards Azpilicueta. So perhaps the game has just slowed down slightly, because Palace, in fairness, are trying to press a little bit higher. At least you can see the attacking 2 and the midfield 4 are now all at the edge of the centre circle rather than sat back sort of 30 yards out from their own goal. And now it's good work from Jaya Reedabout to dispossess Mateo Kovacic, but Chelsea win the ball back straight away. And here is Ben Chilwell. Short ball now to Mason Mount, back to Kovacic. Chic's ball into the penalty area, taken down by Kai Havertz. He runs into Gary Cahill. But there's no foul. Cahill clears the ball down that right-hand side. Here is Jordan Ayew, but his pass is blocked almost straight away. And Palace do somehow manage to get the ball back here with Luka Milivojevic. Chelsea are pressing straight away. Milivojevic now looks up and sends a crossfield ball over towards Patrick Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Heavy touch there from Van Aanholt, closed down straight away by Callum Hudson-Odoi. All cleared towards the halfway line, and Barry Eze is brought down by Jorginho. That is going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace. See the last move into the box there, where I'm not quite sure what Kai Havertz was appealing. It was when he was blocked inside the penalty area by Gary. I mean, I don't think he was appealing for a foul. It may well be that he bumped into Cahill, then he was falling to the ground, and the ball bounced off Gary Cahill's chest. It clearly bounced off his chest. There was nowhere near a handball, but it may well be that Havertz, from his perspective, thought there was a handball. I can't really believe he was expecting a penalty for the way Cahill stood his ground and Havertz bumped into him, but you never know. It may well be just a combination of appealing something, hoping that something might be given. As Jairo Riedewald makes a bit of a mess of his clearance there. Just plays the ball straight out for a throw to Chelsea. Still relatively close to the Palace penalty area with Gary Cahill. Unable to clear the ball for Palace, and now Ben Chilwell gets it back for Chelsea, plays it back towards the halfway line. Antonio Rudiger out towards Azpilicueta. First time ball from Hudson-Odoi to find Mason Mount. He's been stopped in by Cahill, and Eze goes back towards Jorginho. Does well to get away from Wilfried Zaha. And now the ball is played over towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Here is Ben Chilwell, lifts one into the penalty area. It drops to Eze, always just almost caught in possession inside his own box in the end. Hudson-Odoi forced to play that ball back, but Chelsea still have the ball alive. And you can see Wilfried Zaha is starting to get a little bit petulant out on the field now. He's sort of arms up in the air, seems to be shouting almost at anybody who'll listen. I think he was unhappy with the referee for a previous collision. He's unhappy with the referee for that free kick that's been given against him. He's unhappy with his teammates for all sat back too deep. Certainly the way he was sort of waving his arm around, I don't think he was necessarily having a go at the referee after that free kick. I think he was just saying telling his teammates that they need to wake up a little bit, do a little bit more to try and get this ball back, because at the moment Palace really can't get into any kind of possession. Here's that free kick for Chelsea, headed away inside the penalty area by Christian Benteke. Loose ball kept alive by Hudson-Odoi. Finds Mount. Mason Mount's pass to Havertz is blocked though by Ebi Eze, and now a chance for a pass out towards the left-hand side. Here is Van Aanholt. He crosses the halfway line, stopped immediately by Jorginho. Chelsea are back in possession, although Jordan Ayew is pressing, trying to win that ball back. Not to be though, and Chelsea do have it back now with Kurt Zuma to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic then inside towards Jorginho. Now out towards the right-hand side. It's with Azpilicueta. Havertz back to Kovacic. Now Christian Pulisic back to Jorginho. Long ball to the edge of the area, taken down by Havertz. That's really strong. Havertz with the strike. Stopped on the line by Gaito, and it's cleared away by Kouyaté. But that would have been a lovely goal for Kai Havertz. Been a very tough time for him since he arrived at Stamford Bridge. Really struggled to get into form, and that certainly would have been a great goal for him to score there. It's a long ball taken down with the left foot, and then a strike with the right foot. It's a really good save from Gaito, so getting one hand to it before Kouyaté is quick to react and clear the rebound away. But certainly we're a lot closer to seeing a third Chelsea goal than we are seeing a first for Palace. And Palace still with some defending to do. I'm not sure if that clearance from Kouyaté did actually go out for a corner. It may well have done. It has gone out for a corner. So everybody congregating inside the penalty area now. And Mason Mount waiting to take this corner kick. To see where his teammates position themselves. The ball is whipped into the edge of the 6-yard box. Good header away by Jordan Ayew. But no one waiting at the edge of the earth. So that will go straight out for a throw. Another throw to Chelsea, this time on the right-hand side. Azpilicueta was across to take it. He leaves it though. Hudson-Odoi now waiting to take the throw. To see where his teammates are. It's a short throw. Ball goes back to Hudson-Odoi from Mount. And then it's played back towards Azpilicueta on the halfway line. Plays it square to Kurt Zuma. Last 10 minutes we can see the ball is spending 28% of the time at the edge of the Palace penalty area or in the box 69% of the time around about the halfway line, and then just 3% of the time outside Chelsea's penalty area, and all of that 3% would have been Chelsea themselves going back towards their own goalkeeper. As a long ball is played now towards the right hand edge of the field, taken down by Hudson-Odoi, plays it back to Jorginho. His cross gets a big deflection, Gaete chasing the bouncing ball, but he can't stop it from going out for a corner. So more pressure coming up here for Palace from this Chelsea set piece. It does look as though Chelsea have come in with a point to prove this evening. So it would have been new for Thomas Tuchel, having had an impressive start at Stamford Bridge. It was his first defeat last week, so it certainly would have been new for him to see all the comments and perhaps questions being asked. Is this the right solution for Chelsea? So he needed a response from his players. He's certainly getting it. Certainly got it in the game against Porto, and the start this evening has been very good from Chelsea, as well as the corner kick just a little bit too long, swings out of the penalty area. They're still trying to keep it alive down the left-hand side before Jordan Ayew gets there, and he clears it up towards the halfway line, taken down by Antonio Rudiger. He goes back towards his own goal, just to let Edouard Mendy have a touch of the ball. He's hardly seen any of it so far in this match. And here is Mateo Kovacic now, just looking at the two benches. For Palace, it is Scott Dan, Andros Townsend, it's Jerusan Rak-Saki, and it's Martin Kelly as well, James McCarthy, Tyrese Mitchell, Jeff Schlupp, as well as Jean-Philippe Mateta, and the goalkeeper Jack Butland. It's interesting to see whether or not Hodgson's going to want to make any changes at half-time. We see, of course, how his side will respond in the last 20 minutes, but so far it's all Chelsea. They're going forward again here now with Antonio Rudiger, who got all the way to the edge of the area. Chilwell's ball into the box is headed away before it's finally cleared up towards the halfway line. As far as Chelsea's bench, it's Tammy Abraham, Marcos Alonso, Reece James, Hakim Ziyech, N'Golo Kante, Emerson, Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud, and Kepa Arrizabalaga, the goalkeeper on the bench for Chelsea this evening. Ball out for a throw to Chelsea down the right-hand side. Callum Hudson-Odoi throws it out to Mateo Kovacic, under pressure from Christian Benteke to keep the ball alive, but then he gets it straight back, and Hudson-Odoi is off down the right-hand side. He gets to the edge of the area, stopped by Gary Cahill. It is out for a corner. Chelsea at the moment. Palace looking to sit further and further back, even when they want to push out, they're just not able to, because Chelsea comes straight back with a more attacking possession. The ball is going to be crossed in from this right-hand side. Everybody waiting inside the penalty area. It's going to be an outswinger this time. It's towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Strong header there from Kurt Zouma. He's claiming that it might have got a deflection. In fact, Michael Oliver agrees it has got a deflection after Zouma heads this, so it's going to be another corner. So I thought it might have just come off Kurt Zouma. They're looking at the replay, but we'll see from this angle. In fact, no, Zouma does head it straight down into the back of Gary Cahill, and then it goes out for a corner, so it's absolutely the right decision. Outswinger again from that right-hand side. Again, it's Kurt Zouma with the header. Didn't get it as close to goal this time. And then Eze tries to flick the ball away from Palace. Bounces back towards the edge of the Palace penalty area. It's played away by Patrick Van Aanholt this time. And the ball is one back on the halfway line. Chelsea now back in possession with Mateo Kovacic. It's short now towards Jorginho. Spilicueta now down the right-hand side, back to Jorginho. So at the moment, no change really from the start of this match, with Chelsea seeing all of the ball and Palace just trying to sit back and soak up any pressure, with Antonio Rudiger to Cesar Spilicueta. Off down the right-hand side, but then sends a crossfield ball over to the left-hand side. That's well judged by Jordan Ayew to come back and pick that one off. He then gets stopped by Ben Chilwell. That's going to be a free kick to Palace, still deep inside their own half. It's Cheikhou Kouyaté waiting to restart play. Just a short ball to Luka Milivojevic. It's with Gary Cahill on the left-hand side. Van Aanholt towards Luka Milivojevic. Picked up here by Jordan Ayew. Now it's with Eze. Back to Ayew again. Oh, it's a pass. He's furious there, Wilfried Zaha. Really angry there. You could see that there was a pass that was from only about 10-12 yards, and it was right in between Zaha and Van Aanholt. So neither player could go after the ball. And I think it's fair to say that Zaha was just a little bit disappointed there, putting it mildly, that his teammate couldn't quite pick him out. But from that resulting Chelsea throw, Palace do win it back. Benteke it is this time, trying to get on the end of a pass from Jairo Riedewald. That one deflects out, and it is going to be a throw to Crystal Palace down the left-hand side. So they're in the Chelsea half. Baby steps in terms of trying to start an attack here for Palace. Quick throw, that's a nice one too as well between Riedewald and Van Aanholt. Now it's Benteke at the edge of the area, finds Ayew. Ayew finds Eze, who breaks into the box, but he couldn't quite control it. And Chelsea bring the ball out now with Mateo Kovacic down the left-hand side. It's a really good ball as well to find Ben Chilwell, who is then taken out by Cheku Kouyaté. That's a nailed-on yellow card for the Palace centre-back. I don't think you can have any arguments there at all. Takes out the man with very little attempt, or no real attempt to play the ball there, and it was on the counter-attack as well, so there was never any danger of Michael Oliver not giving a yellow card for that one. And Kouyaté, that's his first yellow of the season. You'll have to be careful for the rest of this match. There's certainly some pace in this Chelsea attack that you'll have to be very aware of. Chilwell certainly felt that one. It looks like it was his left knee that bore the brunt of that, but he's slowly picking himself up now. Should be okay to play on. Still hobbling slightly, but he's actually going to leave this free kick. It's over on the left-hand side, but it looks like it's going to be the right foot of Mason Mount to swing this in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's a third goal for Chelsea, and it's Kurt Zouma. Again, he leaps higher than anybody else. It was almost like he was unmarked there, really, and then just powers the ball into the back of the net. And just before we hit the 30-minute mark, Chelsea have their third goal here this evening, and it's turning into a bit of a riot here at Selhurst Park. And Palace, well, they haven't woken up yet. They had a brief moment of possession inside the Chelsea half. Couldn't really get near the penalty area from that little bit of possession. Chelsea had a counter-attack. Palace gave a free kick away, and it's from that free kick. Nice ball in from Mason Mount. But again, it's too easy. Kurt Zouma, he's a big player. He's a tall player. He's excellent in the air, but nobody's really trying to stop him. And it's far too easy for him once he gets on the edge of this at the 6-yard box, and it's a good header into the back of the net. So just as we hit the 30-minute mark at Selhurst Park, it is now Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3, and it's all too easy for Chelsea. They pretty much had 80% possession for this match so far, and Palace had a brief moment of possession inside the Chelsea half. Off the back of that, Chelsea won the ball back and went on a quick counter. Ben Chilwell was brought down by Cheku Kouyaté. There was a free kick and a yellow card, but from the resulting free kick, the ball was whipped into the edge of the 6-yard box. Kurt Zouma rose above everybody else and headed it into the back of the net past the diving Gaeta. It was all too easy, really, as well as Palace giving the free kick away. The marking was really non-existent. Zouma had all the space he needed, and it's now Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3. Looking pretty grim here for Crystal Palace so far in this match. Say if Wilfried Zaha was frustrated before we saw how angry he was getting at what his teammates were and weren't doing. He's going to be absolutely fuming now after that goal was conceded. Chelsea now just slowly keeping the ball in midfield. It's with Jorginho. Finds Kovacic now. It's with Antonio Rudiger. So Kovacic switching play out towards the right-hand side, taken down by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Plays it back towards Mason Mount and off, and here is a chance now for Palace potentially to go on a counter-attack, because Zaha was bringing the ball out. He's lost his balance there again, Wilfried Zaha. I wonder if he's maybe got the wrong studs in his boots this evening, because that's 2 or 3 times where nobody's around him and he's just sort of slipped on the turf. But here come Palace now through the middle. That's a great touch there from Jordan Ayew. Breaks into the box after a pass from Joel Ward, and it's put across the 6-yard box. A block there from Azpilicueta. It was essential as well, because there was a real chance for Benteke to get on the end of that one. And that's exactly the sort of response that Palace needed. It's a pity they didn't do that when they were 1-0 or 2-0 down, but better late than never. They've got to try and believe that if they can get a quick goal back here, they can still get something from this match. So it's going to be very difficult, of course, with that scoreline being what it is. But that was a good response. It was a good run out, actually, from Joel Ward. Got towards the edge of the area, and then the pass across the 6-yard box was well stopped by Azpilicueta. With Mateo Kovacic towards Jorginho. Kovacic finding Mason Mount. Has got a bit of space, and he plays it to Hudson-Odoi. Breaks into the box, back to Mason Mount. Mount with the strike. Oh, it's saved by Gaeta, out for a corner kick. But again, it's all too easy. It's all too easy, and how much time Mount had to try and set himself. The strike was always going to be, Gaeta was always going to be favoured, because it was at the near post. So I really would expect Gaeta. In fact, no, I'll take that back. He was firing across the goalkeeper, but because Gaeta was well positioned at his near post, he was able to cover that one. It wasn't really fired at the goalkeeper's near side. He was trying to shoot across goal a little bit more there, Mason Mount. It's a corner kick now to Chelsea. It's going to be an outswinger from the right-hand side. Oh, it just too high for Kurt Zouma. Then it nutmegged, it nutmegged Antonio Rudiger. Then there's a follow-up effort from the edge of the area from Ben Chilwell, which gets a deflection. That is out for a corner kick. It seemed to me like Kurt Zouma was the best target there. Couldn't really judge the pace of the ball. And then it's fired back in by Ben Chilwell. Sort of a diving block there from Gary Cahill. He had his arms by his side. It may have actually struck him on the arm, but he was doing everything to put his arms away. So I think the referee never even considered that one as being a potential handball. Corner kick now to Chelsea. Ball swung in. Oh, it's a header. It's off the line. It's off the line. I think it was Antonio Rudiger with a header towards goal this time. But we're one header away there from having a fourth goal for Chelsea inside the first 34 minutes. So we'll just see who it was on the line that stopped it. It was Patrick Van Aanholt who was on that near post. And it really was a powerful header, and it was Antonio Rudiger with the header. Good work there from Van Aanholt. German international being stopped by the Dutch international on the line. And in the meantime, there's some pushing and shoving here, and Wilfried Zaha is looking very animated. Unfortunately, we didn't see what happened because they were still showing us a replay of that Chelsea chance. And in the meantime, Michael Oliver's got involved just to try and calm everything down. Hopefully we'll see what was happening in open play. But Zaha, he's certainly going after somebody. Not entirely sure who it is. It seems to be like he's unhappy with Mason Mount. Mount standing there with a bit of a smirk on his face. Zaha seems to have calmed down as well. Now now the referee's calling over the two captains and the two players. So it's Mason Mount and Zaha, as well as Azpilicueta and Milivojevic. It seems as though Mason Mount is trying to sort of act like the cool one in this situation, like he's done nothing wrong. He's sort of had a bit of a sort of handshake there with Zaha. We'll see what happens here as Zaha goes for the ball. Oh, I see. Zaha was pushed off the ball, and he was already unhappy about that. He then had his hand on the ball as he was hitting the deck, and Mason Mount then kicked the ball, which then sort of obviously was on Wilfried Zaha's hand as well. Zaha then got into the face of Mason Mount, started pushing him. Mason Mount then pushed him back, which Zaha took real exception to. So it was handbags more than anything else. I think it was right from the referee that he just gave the two players a warning. Of course, Zaha will also be very frustrated with how this game has gone for his side, let alone with how difficult it's been for him to get into the match. It is Palace in possession now inside their own half. It's over with Patrick Van Aanholt forward to Christian Benteke. Short ball now towards Wilfried Zaha. He's trying to go off down the left-hand side, just gets stopped in his tracks though. And that will be a throw on to Crystal Palace. As Van Aanholt's come forward to take it. Short throw to Milivojevic. As Mason Mount tries to win that ball back, and Pulisic is back on that right-hand side as well. Now it's Van Aanholt who's hit the deck, and he seems to be in a bit of pain. I'm not sure there was too much intent in what Mason Mount did, but certainly Van Aanholt felt that one as Milivojevic now takes the throw, coming back towards his own defensive line. Cahill towards Joel Ward, back to Cheku Kouyaté. He plays it short to Riedewald. Over towards Cahill on the left-hand side. Quick ball played forward, that's deflected, and that's going to be a throw to, going to be a free kick in fact to Crystal Palace. Tuchel on his feet, just trying to get some further instructions out to his players, but he'll be very pleased with how this first half has gone. So if he wanted the response after the defeat home to West Brom last Saturday, he's certainly got it. So his side looking very strong here as Palace trying to get something going in midfield. Ball played forward to Jordan Ayew, tries to turn away from Antonio Rudiger, who then brings him down. That's a clear free kick, and Rudiger not even arguing with that one. He knows that he was a little too keen to win that one back for Chelsea. Free kick to Palace. It's a long way out. It's probably about 45 yards from goal, but Berry Eze has put the ball down, waiting to see where his teammates position themselves, because it's in quite a central position as well. It's not going to be that easy to put a cross in that's going to actually surprise the Chelsea defence. He tries to get a bit of an angle on it towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Didn't quite reach Christian Benteke, And Callum Hudson-Odoi now playing it back towards the goalkeeper. Long clearance, Medward Mendy down the middle, but Van Aanholt back as the last defender for Palace. He plays the ball back towards Vicente Guaita. Back with Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Plays it square now to Gary Cahill. And Jairo Riedewald in midfield. Being closed down by two Chelsea players. Gets it forward to Jordan Ayew. Towards Riedewald again. It's with Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Finds Zaha, who's been closed down by Hudson-Odoi straight away. Zaha square to Ayew. Now back with Milivojevic on the halfway line. Goes back towards Gary Cahill. Piatti now having to play the ball short to Jordan Ayew. Chelsea not pressing too much when Palace are in possession now. There was a lot more possession there was a lot more pressing from Chelsea in those first 15-20 minutes. Anytime that Palace got on the ball. Now with the scoreline being what it is, it may well be that Chelsea are just sitting back a little bit here as Palace try to get forward. But now it's Chelsea winning the ball back, and specifically it's with Mason Mount. He finds Hudson-Odoi right hand edge of the penalty area, going back towards Kovacic. Kovacic playing it inside now towards Mason Mount. Mount being blocked there by Riedewald. He plays it back towards Van Aanholt. Van Aanholt skips past a couple of Chelsea players. Plays it up towards Benteke. Now it's with Riedewald down the left-hand side. Plays it in for Wilfried Zaha. And he's playing it back towards Milivojevic. Ball deflects off Christian Pulisic. There was an appeal from both sides that it should be our throw, but it has been given as Palace. Throw to Palace now with Van Aanholt down the left-hand side. 40 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3. The two earlier games: Man City 1, Leeds United 2, Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. No late evening kickoff tonight. Because we had a Friday night game, of course. Still got the full 4 matches tomorrow. 12 midday is Burnley, Newcastle. 5 minutes past 2, it's West Ham against Leicester. 4:30, Tottenham, Manchester United, and then 7 o'clock, Sheffield United against Arsenal. With 2 games on Monday: West Brom, Southampton, and Brighton against Everton. Before we have the second legs in the Champions League and the Europa League on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Very much the business end of the season now. And of course, Euro competition coming up in June as well. We're going to get confirmation in the next couple of days exactly how many fans are going to be allowed at every venue. There are some where there's going to be limited capacity. I don't think there are any where there'll be none at all, so that's obviously a good thing. But ironic, really, that for years UEFA was promoting this idea of having a pan-European tournament, with tournaments being played across 7 or 8 different nations. Of course, they couldn't have predicted the pandemic, but now with a pandemic, it obviously seems like the worst idea possible is to have teams and spectators, officials and media people travelling from one country to another. Really, it's the last thing you want to be doing right now, but it is what it is, and we're glad, of course, that the Euros can be played at all, because it looked at one stage as though it might have to be cancelled indefinitely. But getting back to action here at Selhurst Park, Palace trying to get into some sort of possession down the left-hand side. Wilfried Zaha, decent run down the left as well, gets stopped at the edge of the area. Takes a quick throw, gets into Milivojevic, back to Zaha, where he gets stopped by Azpilicueta, and now that's good work though from Ayew to win the ball back at the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Breaks into the box, tries to keep the ball alive, and eventually it's out of play. I don't think it's going to be a corner kick though. There's also a lot of pushing and shoving there between Christian Benteke and Antonio Rudiger inside the penalty area. I think in the end Rudiger hit the deck, but ball is now. Interesting stat that Cesar Azpilicueta is the only player to have started all 12 matches under Thomas Tuchel since the German took over. So it just shows you that Azpilicueta, well, he's certainly been through a few managers, hasn't he, Azpilicueta, since he's joined Chelsea. He has been a long-serving, really has been a long-serving player here for the Stamford Bridge club, and he has been an excellent player as well, Azpilicueta. Very reliable on that, whether it's on the right side of 3 defenders or the right side of 4. Time Chelsea go forward here with a ball played out towards Callum Hudson-Odoi. Didn't have too many options inside the penalty area, so he thought about an effort from quite a tight angle, but in the end doesn't really get it close to. It doesn't get it close to being on target, unfortunately for him. So always rising there. There was potentially an option to try and find Havertz as well. Right, the ball now we put back into play by Vicente Guaita. Clearance from the goalkeeper down the right-hand side, looking for Joel Ward. He heads it back towards the edge of the area here for Cheki Kuyate. Long clearance from him. It's over the head of Rideval, but loose ball picked up here by Jordan Ayew. And now Milivojevic plays it out towards Ward on the right-hand side. Ward finding Rideval. Rideval's ball is picked off here by Kovacic. Goes back towards Jorginho. Now it's with Rudiger and Zuma at the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, down the left-hand side. Kovacic plays it back towards Chilwell. Now that's a bit of a clumsy challenge there. Jorginho just bumped off the ball there by Benteke. I'm not sure if the referee gave a free kick for that, but ball is now on the halfway line with Mason Mount. He plays it back towards Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic forward. That one is blocked. There may still be a chance for Havertz to chase down the loose ball, but a combination of Cahill Kuyate and then Ward are able to get the ball back towards the goalkeeper Vincente Gaeta. His clearance towards the halfway line, headed down by Wilfried Zaha, back towards Eberi Eze. Ball forward is picked off here by Callum Hudson-Odoi. He skips past Luka Milivojevic, plays a quick 1-2 with Kai Havertz, plays the ball into the box, just a little bit behind Mason Mount. He couldn't quite control it, then Azpilicueta gives the free kick away as he tries to keep the ball alive for Chelsea. Runs straight into Wilfried Zaha. This will be a free kick to Palace down the left-hand side. But surely we are winding down towards the end of this first. I've got about 30 seconds before we see the injury time. Fairness, we've not really had, well, the only stoppages we've had really was that little pushing and shoving match between Zaha and Mount, and of course we've had 3 goals scored as well. And the physio's not been involved. It's been a fairly efficient first half in terms of timekeeping. It's been a very efficient half as far as Thomas Tuchel's side are concerned. Very pleased with how everything is looking here after 45 minutes. So we're in just the 1 minute of injury time at the end of this first half, and Joel Ward bringing the ball forward now for Palace. Gets to the edge of the area. It's stopped by Ben Chilwell. Out for a throw to Palace down the right-hand side. Joel Ward waiting to take this one. It's short. It's now with Ben Chilwell. Jordan Ayew wins it back. Ayew then tries to get the ball in. Oh, it's deflected off Ben Chilwell. And actually came last off Ayew. There was a chance there might have been a corner kick. There was one more deflection of the Palace man. Less than 30 seconds of injury time still to play. Thomas Tuchel getting ready for that long walk. It is quite a bit of a long walk, isn't it? Sort of along the side of the pitch there to get into the dressing room. To Selhurst Park, I'd imagine it's probably been extended even further, that walk, now with the pandemic changes. But it's been a very good half from Chelsea, who started 2-0 up inside the first 10 minutes, really set the tone for the rest of this game, it seems. And as we wind down towards the end of this first half, referee Michael Oliver blows for half-time. Chelsea lead here by 3-0 after an excellent start in this game. Goals from Havertz, Pulisic and Zuma, giving Chelsea a 3-0 lead. And I'm back in 15 minutes for second half of Tube Studio commentary. Half-time at Selhurst Park is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3. Chelsea starting superbly in this game, leading 2-0 inside the first 10 minutes after Kai Havertz was found inside the penalty. He had way too much time. He was able to tuck the ball past Vincente Gaeta. It was 2-0 just 90 seconds later. Havertz, this time provider, laying the ball off Pulisic, who found a really tight angle with a good finish into the top corner. And then on 30 minutes, a cross from the left-hand side from Chilwell, headed into the back of net by Zuma, who was virtually unmarked. Palace struggling to get out of their own half. Half-time at Selhurst Park is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3. Chelsea starting superbly in this game, leading 2-0 inside the first 10 minutes after Kai Havertz was found inside the penalty. He had way too much time. He was able to tuck the ball past Vincente Gaeta. It was 2-0 just 90 seconds later. Ball off Pulisic, who found a really tight angle with a good finish into the top corner. And then on 30 minutes, a cross from the left-hand side from Chilwell, headed into the back of net by Zuma, who was virtually unmarked. Palace struggling to get out of their own half. Half-time at Selhurst Park is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3. Chelsea starting.
Chelsea, the half-time show brought to you by Verizon. We'll be with Danny, Tim and Rebecca in a few moments' time. Chelsea leading South London 3-0.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now.
But we have ants.
You're slouching again, Ted.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
Thanks, Aunt Bonnie.
A lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes fun.
You enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Top reasons to visit the Buy Ford Now sales event. Let's do this. Number 3, you know how to have fun. And with Ford Ranger's available trail control, you'll have lots of it. 2, go big in the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. Just look at that touchscreen. Nice. And coming in at number 1, get great deals during the Buy Ford Now sales event. Now, get $1,500 Buy Ford Now bonus cash for up to $6,000 in total savings on a 2021 F-150.
Want to grow your business? That means getting paid however, wherever your customers are. That means expanding into delivery.
Receive contactless payments with an Intuit QuickBooks bank account.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11 Alive Storm Trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. The Storm Trackers, only on 11 Alive.
I'm Ron Jones. Watch Up Late tonight at 11 right here on 11 Alive.
Premier League half-time presented by Verizon. Chelsea with quite the response to that defeat last weekend against West Brom. They're totally dominating Crystal Palace, leading by 3 goals to 1. To nil, I should say. 3 goals to nil. Definitely not 1. Crystal Palace have not even had a shot. Welcome inside our studio, Rebecca Lowe, Danny Higginbotham and Tim Howard. Let's get you caught up with what's happened today. We'll begin with the Geico first-half highlights from Crystal Palace. All 3 goals, Tim, in the space of 22 minutes.
Yeah, and Kai Havertz was really good in the first half here. Given way too much space. It's an easy finish for him. You can see he's worked hard here to win the ball back. Then once it comes to Hudson-Odoi, he's asking for it. He wants it. Gary Cahill doesn't close the ball down, and it's a simple little finish past Guaita.
2 minutes later, that man Pulisic who starts the game today.
And once again, Havertz involved here. He's asking for the ball. He wants it. It's a good first touch from Christian Pulisic, and even better finish. You'll see here, really difficult skill to settle that ball, and he just puts it in the roof of the net for 2-0. 2 players were starting to brim with confidence, and then Mason Mount, he's a good deliverer of the ball, but I tell you what, when Kurt Zuma gets on the end of it, you just see how high he leaps here. Scores his 5th goal of the season.
Totally dominant so far at Selhurst Park. Thomas Tuchel's men earlier in the day, they left it very late indeed. Leeds United beating the champions-elect, Danny.
Yeah, and they just kept going energy-wise. It's a lovely ball from Alioski and Dallas in the 90-plus minute. It's phenomenal, the energy levels that they're showing, down to 10 men. And as well, special mention for Dallas. He's equally adept in any position he plays in. He plays central midfield, full-back, but he's just got the energy to get forward there, and it's a wonderful finish to give Leeds the win.
An unhappy Pep Guardiola to Anfield, where Liverpool were taking on Aston Villa. They'd lost their last 6 in a row at Anfield. They went one down, they pulled it back, and then they got the winner.
Yeah, well, this is the best of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's come under a lot of criticism defensively-wise, but going forward, this is what he's capable of. It's a wonderful finish. Gives Martinez absolutely no chance at all. 90-plus minutes once again. Shaqiri, who'd come on off the bench. Thiago pulls a save from Martinez, but then you just see Alexander-Arnold gets the ball out of his feet and uses the players around him. An unstoppable finish.
Exactly what Jurgen Klopp needed. Now this is a live top half table as things stand. Chelsea, as you can see, are in 4th place, displacing Liverpool, who had popped in there briefly earlier on with that win against Villa. The race for the Champions League places changing by the hour at the moment.
So, yeah, just a silly mistake. I guess I look pretty ridiculous.
No one looks ridiculous, Bob. Progressive is always here for you with round-the-clock service.
Just so you know, next time you can submit a claim with our mobile app.
Good. Thanks again for rushing over.
Are you kidding? This is what 24/7 protection looks like.
Okay.
You smell like fish.
Sorry.
I was talking to Jamie.
The 2021 GLA SUV, starting at just $36,230. It's the biggest thing that ever happened to small.
It's a busy Sunday for you tomorrow. 4 games, including up third, 11:30 Eastern on Peacock Premium. Tottenham against Manchester United. Jose Mourinho against his old club. Spurs also looking to stay in that race for a Champions League spot. Tomorrow, 11:30.
The Premier League on NBCSN is brought to you by Verizon. The network more people rely on gives you more.
It's so busted, you can't use this part of the screen. Definitely cracked every phone I've owned.
You broke your phone, so Verizon broke the rules. For the first time ever, new and current customers can trade in their old and damaged phones for up to $1,000 off our best 5G phones.
My phone is old, very old.
Old, cracked, water damaged, doesn't matter.
I'm ready for something new.
Now, trade up to the 5G network you deserve with the 5G phone you want. Because at Verizon, the network is just the beginning.
Yeah, Reggie, it's always tough having to say goodbye.
Whoa, hold up.
Oh, the honey butter chicken biscuit is $1.99 all month.
This is great. I'm never leaving now.
We made the deal too good.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's and get the breakfast you deserve.
When you take Jägermeister's 56 botanicals and blend them with rich cold brew coffee, you get a unique spirit that's like no other. New Jägermeister cold brew coffee.
Take it wherever. With whoever. This is the no-holds-barred multi-purpose vehicle with the capacity to take life on. And the audacity to say, what else you got? Introducing the all-new Kia Carnival MPV.
Good day, I'm Jose Diaz-Balart with NBC News. We are coming on the air with this breaking news update. The royal family is speaking publicly for the first time about yesterday's death of Britain's Prince Philip. Just moments ago, Prince Charles addressed the nation.
My family and I miss my father enormously. He was a much-loved and appreciated figure. And apart from anything else, I can imagine, and we're so deeply touched by the number of other people here and elsewhere around the world in the Commonwealth who also, I think, share our loss and our sorrow. And my dear papa was a very special person who, I think, above all else, would have been amazed by the reaction and the touching things that have been said about him. And from that point of view, we are, my family, deeply grateful for all that.
Today, military teams across the UK fired 41-gun salutes honoring the husband of Queen Elizabeth. And we've learned that Prince Harry will attend the funeral a week from today, but his pregnant wife, Meghan Markle, will remain in the United States. We will have much more tonight on NBC Nightly News. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Good day.
Again, Mom. It's raining. Mom, go Cardi.
Yum, yum, yum.
Mommy, I spilled.
Oh, no.
When are we gonna be there?
We're here. You coming?
I need 1 second.
Find new adventures together in the new Santa Fe with user profiles.
And Doug.
Excuse me, ma'am. Did you know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Thank you.
Hey! No, Limu. No, Limu. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The Kentucky Derby returns to the first Saturday in May.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
It's time to get back on track. The Kentucky Derby, May 1st on NBC.
Credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
See the new Lexus IS, Subaru BRZ, Toyota Sienna, and more at the Atlanta International Auto Show, April 14th through the 18th at the Georgia World Congress Center.
You need to talk to him.
What's this? Oh, are we kicking Carly out?
We live with AT&T. It was a lapse in judgment. AT&T, we called this house meeting because you advertise gig speed internet, but we can't sign up for that here.
Yeah, but I'm just like warming up to those speeds.
You've lived here for 2 years.
Well, the personal attacks are not helping, Carly. Don't you have like a hot Pilates class to get to or something?
Stop living with AT&T. Xfinity can deliver gig to the most homes.
Top reasons to visit the Buy Ford Now sales event. Let's do this. Number 3, you know how to have fun. And with Ford Ranger's available trail control, you'll have lots of it. 2, go big in the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. Just look at that touchscreen. Nice. And coming in at number 1, get great deals during the Buy Ford Now sales event. Now, get $1,500 Buy Ford Now bonus cash for up to $6,000 in total savings on a 2021 F-150.
The Storm Tracker Sky Camera Network is sponsored by AquaGuard Gutter Solutions. Do your gutters leak or overflow when it rains? Protect your foundation. Call the experts at AquaGuard for your free inspection.
The all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to bring you right into the strongest storms. Sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
Watch Up Late, Atlanta's 11 p.m. news tonight on 11 Alive.
Don't miss WWE's biggest event of the year. Watch your favorite superstars compete on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania, streaming live tonight and
Ben Chilwell strikes it. Oh, it's wide. Chilwell, of course, much stronger on his left foot. Perhaps he should have thought about finding a teammate there. That was perhaps a suggestion of offside. Looks like he was level. Could have tried to find Mason Mount there as well. He should have tried to find Mason Mount, who was completely unmarked at the edge of the 6-yard box. But he tried to shoot himself, which goes badly wrong in the end for Ben Chilwell, and he's unhappy there. Thomas Tuchel as well, straight away reacting. That should have been played across to a teammate. But in the meantime, the Chelsea 11 is Edouard Mendy in goal. Back three of Cesar Azpilicueta, Kurt Zouma, Antonio Rudiger. Four in midfield, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic and Ben Chilwell, with Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz as the three up front. Clearance now from Vicente Guaita. Back towards the halfway line. Benteke gets pushed off the ball there by Antonio Rudiger. Doesn't seem too much in that, but referee Michael Oliver giving the free kick in favour of Crystal Palace. Chance now here for Palace to try and go forward. It's with Berry Eze who's going to take this free kick. Chelsea have set up their offside line just at the edge of the area, making it a bit more difficult for Palace to attack. But Eze's ball into the box or to the edge of the area, goes over the head of Gary Cahill. Loose ball should be picked up now by Kai Havertz. Goes back to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta under pressure. They're looking to play a 1-2 with Jorginho. Havertz trying to start a move down the right-hand side, but Milivojevic slides in. And he puts the ball out for a throw, which Azpilicueta will take. Bit of a heavy touch there from Mason Mount. Oh, it was almost back into Palace possession there, but in the end it's a ball in midfield that Jair Bidabal plays forward towards the edge of the area. It doesn't quite get through to Christian Benteke. And now the ball is played across towards the left-hand side as Chilwell tries to bring it out for Chelsea. It's stopped though, no free kick, and it is Palace now back in possession at the edge of their own area with Gary Cahill. Short ball towards Cheku Kouyaté, out towards the right-hand side now for Joel Ward. He's under pressure from Kovacic, but he's still able to get a ball down towards Benteke. Benteke stopped though by Antonio Rudiger, and now a ball out towards Mason Mount, who got the furthest forward for Chelsea this time. One back here though by Mateo Kovacic. He's it inside for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now towards Antonio Rudiger. Feed a ball down the left-hand side, but that one is stopped by Joel Ward, under pressure straight away from Mason Mount. It's a ball up in the air, and it's headed across by Christian Benteke. Doesn't quite get through towards Wilfred Zaha, though he's hustling to try and win the ball back, but Kovacic keeping the ball for Chelsea. Kovacic is caught in possession, but that deflection still ends up in the path of a Chelsea player, so the visitors are still in possession, moving down the right-hand side now as Azpilicueta doesn't play a particularly good ball there to Hudson-Odoi. Slid out in the end by Patrick Van Aanholt, and it is going to be a throw to Chelsea down the right-hand side. So the Doik, the ball to Havertz. He has the ball taken off him by Gary Cahill, who played back towards Guaita. Long clearance of him, headed forward by Kurt Zouma. Out for a throw to Palace down the left-hand side. So now by Patrick Van Aanholt. The ball in towards Eze, now down the left-hand side. Is that going to go out of play? It is going to go out of play. It's going to be a throw to Chelsea. Palace didn't enjoy possession for too long there before the ball goes out for a throw to the visitors. Again, no real speed here in taking this throw. So, that's a bad throw though from Hudson-Odoi. Missed Mateo Kovacic, and Benteke picks it up now. Plays it across to Jordan Ayew. That's a really heavy touch from Jordan Ayew, and the opportunity is now wasted, unfortunately. Puts his thumb up there because it was a good ball to him, but he'll be disappointed there, Jordan Ayew. He should have done a little bit better with that one, especially as Palace have had crumbs of possession in front of the Chelsea penalty area in this match so far. And they've had even less actually inside the box, so really when they get a gift like that, like a loose throw, they've got to try and use it. Say Hudson-Odoi, more of an attacking player. It's not like he's never taken a throw for Chelsea before, but with Azpilicueta playing in that defensive three, it's that on that right-hand side, Hudson-Odoi He's asked to take throws perhaps in defensive positions, which he perhaps normally wouldn't. It's no excuse, you should still be able to find a teammate with a throw from 5 or 6 yards, but even so, it wasn't a particularly good one, and Palace certainly would have liked to have used that, but you can see how little of attacking possession Palace have had in this game for me to be still talking about that. So it wasn't even a chance, was it? It was just a bit of a loose ball in front of the Chelsea penalty area, but it really has been so little for Palace in this game so far. They do have a possession down the right-hand side now, though, with Jordan Ayew. 2 Chelsea players on him, and it's a combination of Chilwell and Pulisic that dispossess him. Ward is there trying to keep the ball alive for Palace as well. It does go out for a throw to Chelsea, though. And in fact, I think there would have been a foul after that. There was a foul, so it's a free kick here to Chelsea, taken quickly by Antonio Rudiger. Pressure here from Palace straight away, all the way back to Edouard Mendy, but he's able to get the ball towards Aspilicueta. That one's given away, though, at the edge of the area. This is a great chance now for Palace as Eze gets the ball into the box. Oh, we couldn't quite find Riedewald inside the penalty area. Zaha was waiting at the edge of the box as well. Ball now cleared towards the halfway line. Gary Cahill finds Cheku Kouyaté. Palace in possession. Cahill looked up like he wanted to play a long ball, but decided it was safer just to go back towards Kouyaté. Now it's with Luka Milivojevic. Cheku Kouyaté thought about going back towards Gaeta. A bit of pressing there as well from Kai Havertz, and now Cahill with a long ball, but that's straight onto the head of Aspilicueta. Cahill now heads it forward. Riedewald with a pass towards Wilfried Zaha, and the ball now played back with Aspilicueta going back towards goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. 53 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3, and Chelsea looking comfortable, although Palace are doing what they can to at least make it difficult for Chelsea. The last few minutes Chelsea have barely gone past the halfway line, although it's still Chelsea in possession. Palace still can't really get too much of an attacking move going, but they're doing what they can to at least make it difficult for Chelsea. As the ball now played to Kai Havertz, he back heels it to Christian Pulisic, who quickly gets the ball towards the right hand edge of the penalty area here for Callum Hudson-Odoi. His strike gets a big deflection, loose ball drops to Ben Chilwell. Chilwell thought about a shot, decides to just go back towards Mateo Kovacic. And now the ball is cleared towards the halfway line, where Benteke trying to start a move here for Palace, but the Chelsea captain there, Aspilicueta, is back to dispossess him. Once again, Chelsea starting at the edge of their own box now with Mateo Kovacic. Looks up and plays it square towards Jorginho, out towards the right-hand side for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now towards Mason Mount. He goes back towards Jorginho, and Mount again, square to Jorginho. Bit of pressing there from Zaha and Eze. Chelsea's still able to keep the ball. It's now with Antonio Rudiger down the left-hand side. Tries to find a pass here, looking for Ben Chilwell. Tries to get across into the box. Joel Ward slides in. Who did that get a final touch off? I think both sets of players were looking towards the referee, but it has been given as a goal kick to Palace. Good news for them, a chance to get that ball away from their own penalty area as quickly as possible. Towards Tuchel looking fairly relaxed on that touchline right now. So looking at Chelsea's next game, of course, it's the small matter of the second leg against Porto, but Chelsea will feel very confident in that game, having won the away leg by 2-0. And then it's just the small matter of Manchester City in the FA Cup next weekend. A 5:30 kickoff, and the next Premier League outing is going to be on the 20th of April when they play at home to Brighton. Follow that up 4 days later with a trip to West Ham. That's now Chelsea's next few games are looking. As far as Palace, next weekend they don't have a game next weekend, I think, because they were due to play a side still involved in cup competitions. Then they play against Leicester City away. That'll be their only, in fact, that's their only game left now in April. So it's a slightly lighter programme for Palace compared to their opponents this evening. But Chelsea, in the meantime, have got forward down the right-hand side. It was a ball in from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Decent ball as well, first-time cross. And he was looking for Kai Havertz, who gets the final touch on that. It was Havertz. There was Kouyaté close there as well, but it is the Chelsea man that gets the final touch. Palace preparing for a double change with James McCarthy and Jeff Schlupp getting ready to come on. Going to see the two of them coming on the field in the next few minutes. Imagine that Roy Hodgson wants to give them a full half hour, as we're at 56 minutes at the moment. On clearance now from goalkeeper Gaeta. Up in the air by Benteke. Loose ball headed forward now by Joel Ward. Milivojevic tries to keep that ball alive for Palace. His pass though is cleared out. It's going to be a throw on. So we should have McCarthy getting ready to come on. I'm just trying to think who might be getting changed here. Could be Eze or it could be Ayu. Both the two wide men for Palace have had pretty quiet games this evening. Potentially Milivojevic doesn't often play the full 90. Maybe that he goes off. It could be Riedewald. See exactly what Roy Hodgson has in mind. But Palace are trying to get an attack started now down the left here with Eze. Leaves it for Patrick Van Aanholt. Zaha now under a bit of pressure from Mason Mount, having to go back towards Cahill on the halfway line. Cahill square to Cheku Kouyaté. Closed down here by Mason Mount. The ball played back towards the goalkeeper. Gente Gaeta already been closed down by Mason Mount. Didn't have a lot of time on the ball. It's with Eze still inside his own half, being closed down by Jorginho. Zaha square to Patrick Van Aanholt. Now it's with Eze. Back to Wilf Zaha. Up and then played the ball out towards the right-hand side. Picked up by Joel Ward, who runs straight into Christian Pulisic, who then brings him down. That's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. Might even be a yellow card here for Joel Ward because it was a pretty intentional foul. There wasn't too much in it though, so I think he may just get away with with giving the free kick away. He did put his hand up to apologise because he knew that it was him getting caught in possession that led to him having to give that free kick away. Now Palace are ready to make this double change. Jeff Schlupp and James McCarthy, but they're not going to make that change yet. It will be that one of the Palace assistants hadn't quite prepared all the documents, all the paperwork that you need to complete a substitution these days. And so the ball is now played out towards the right-hand side, and a chance now for Chelsea to start an attack as Hudson-Odoi gets the ball back from Mason Mount. Back to Mount again, now Hudson-Odoi. Azpilicueta has joined the attack, the ball has gone to him. He now plays it square to Jorginho. He's about 25 yards out. Ball in from Jorginho, first time ball in across from Hudson-Odoi. It goes past Havertz and it goes past Pulisic, and then it's a follow-up effort from Ben Chilwell from the left-hand side, which goes over the bar in the end. It's a really good ball from Hudson-Odoi. He's having a good game this evening. Hudson-Odoi was level there when that pass was played to him. Kouyaté was a bit slow in leaving his own penalty area, so nobody in the Chelsea shirt was offside in that particular move. It's after Hudson-Odoi's first-time cross eluded the two players in the middle. The strike from Chilwell goes over the bar. Change now for Crystal Palace with a very Eze. He's going to be going off. Doesn't surprise me really. I say it could have been him or it could have been Jordan Ayew. Both wide men really could have done a little bit more with the ball this evening. But Jairo Riedewald is off, so it's Riedewald off for James McCarthy. Eze on to be replaced by Schlupp. Double change here for Roy Hodgson. This goal kick to be taken by Gente Gaeta. Clearance from him up towards the halfway line. Flicked up in the air by Antonio Rudiger. The ball coming back towards the Chelsea penalty area, headed away this time by Ben Chilwell. And Milivojevic tried to play that ball forward, but it's stopped, and it's now picked up by Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side. Up and found Mateo Kovacic. Sounds on the right-hand side. Mason Mount back in towards Jorginho. Bit of pressure, having to go back towards the edge of his own penalty area where Benteke is pressing, making it as difficult as possible for Mendy. Mendy's pass almost picked off by Jordan Ayew. There's a lot more pressing from Palace now at the edge of the area, but Chelsea still get the ball away. There might have been a foul there. The referee allows play to go on because Chelsea still keep the ball alive. It's now with Ben Chilwell, plays it in towards Kai Havertz, and now Mason Mount finding Callum Hudson-Odoi, who breaks into the penalty area. Odoi back to Mount, into the 6-yard box, headed away by Cahill, and out for a corner kick. That was a good counter there from Chelsea after a decent spell of pressing there from Crystal Palace, doing what they can to make it difficult here. Chelsea now getting ready to make their first change of the evening. Is going to be Jorginho to be replaced by N'Golo Kante. To just this little bit more energy we're seeing from Palace. It's just forced Thomas Tuchel's hand that he wants to bring on an even more defence-minded central midfielder here, just to try and make things a bit more difficult here for Palace, just to try and restrict any attacking intentions they might have this last half an hour. It's going to be a corner kick now to Chelsea from the right-hand side. Always a low cross in from Mason Mount, but it's not pretty well dealt with. There's still a chance here. The ball goes back to Mount. So Benteke, who just chested the ball to the edge of the area, could have done a little bit more with it. But it's a good play from James McCarthy, substitute, just at the edge of the area. Looked up and headed a very cushioned header back to his goalkeeper. No danger of any Chelsea player getting on the end of that one. Keita now leaving the ball for Gary Cahill. It's up to Van Aanholt under pressure from Mason Mount. The ball now played back towards Cahill. He steps forward, but there's 3 Chelsea players pressing and doing what they can here to make it difficult for Palace to play out from the back, or indeed to force Palace to perhaps play a long ball. So Ward now is he caught in position though, back the ball goes out of play off Christian Pulisic. It will be a throw to Crystal Palace. So at the start of the second half, we saw more of the same from Chelsea, with a lot of possession for Thomas Tuchel's side, and a good chance when Ben Chilwell took a right-footed strike across goal. Really could have looked to try and play it square. Mason Mount was completely unmarked to the edge of the 6-yard box. Then we saw a spell of possession from Palace, and it was in the Chelsea half, but it wasn't yet inside the Chelsea penalty area. Palace still struggling to get any kind of a meaningful attack going in this match. Palace have made a double change as well, with James McCarthy and Jeff Schlupp coming on for Jairo Riedewald and Berry Eze. Chelsea have also just made their first change as well, with N'Golo Kante coming on for Jorginho. But it's still 3-0. Meantime, though, Palace with a bit of possession here down the left-hand side. And the ball now played back. There's a bit of space here as the cross is whipped in. Benteke there rising, and Palace do have a goal back. It's all started with a move down the left here. It was a substitute Schlupp who found Wilf Zaha. Zaha did a quick turn and found the ball back to Schlupp. He looked up and put a decent cross in towards Christian Benteke, who wasn't marked at the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a good strong header there from Benteke, and Palace have at least got a goal back. They've messed up Chelsea's clean sheet, and there has been more intent here from Crystal Palace in the second half. You cannot deny that, and they'll be very pleased to at least get on the board here. It's taken 62 minutes for Palace to get their first goal. So they are on the board now, and a vital goal that's for Crystal Palace. They now make a bit more of a fist of it in this second half. We'll have to wait and see. Still pleased with how that goal was scored. Benteke with his 6th Premier League goal of the season. It have been hard for him to come by since he had those injury problems. Pretty much since he's moved to Palace, he's just not been able to get into that kind of goal-scoring form that we got used to when we first saw him in England playing for Aston Villa. As Chelsea lose possession in midfield, and Van Aanholt now with a chance. That was Palace's first strike on goal, by the way, as well. Chelsea have had 16 to Palace's 1. Chelsea have also had 7 efforts on target to Palace's 1. Zaha at the edge of the area looking to try and get into the box. He gets brought down, and the referee is going to give a free kick there to Palace. Just a bit of a clumsy challenge there from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Brings down Wilfried Zaha. Now in a decent position. So Palace have a goal back in this game. It was a decent move down the left-hand side. Zaha did well to hold the ball up. He then found Jeff Schlupp, and the substitute was able to get into a good position, stand the ball up from the left-hand side towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and there was Christian Benteke with a powerful bullet header. No marking really, which would have really frustrated Thomas Tuchel, but Palace will be delighted that for all their effort in the first 15-20 minutes of this second half, they do at least have a consolation here, potentially a road back into this match. It's Palace 1, Chelsea 3. A free kick from Van Aanholt was whipped into the edge of the area, headed away, and back towards the halfway line now, and it's Mason Mount trying to start a counter-attack here for Chelsea, but his ball towards the edge of the area deflects back into the path of goalkeeper Vincenzo Guaita. Here's Chilwell now down the left-hand side, straight back towards the Palace penalty area. Chelsea would have been annoyed by conceding that goal. Certainly felt as though they were in complete control of this match. And in fairness, they are still in a very strong position here with 25 minutes to go. They still lead by 3-1. But at least they would say that, at least Palace will say that if they get another goal here now, then things really can get interesting at Selhurst Park. It is Chelsea in possession now with N'Golo Kante, but his pass just a little bit askew. Hudson-Odoi has to track back to keep that in play. Goes back towards Azpilicueta. With Mount inside to Kante. Azpilicueta again. Square towards Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic finding Mason Mount. Now Hudson-Odoi towards the edge of the penalty area to play it back to Kante. So then looks up and plays it square towards Antonio Rudiger down the left-hand side. And Rudiger wants to just track back a little bit here as Palace is still pressing. way back into his own half now. Good slide challenge there from Joel Ward, and it looks like he might have got a touch of the Chelsea man last, so it is going to be a throw to Palace, which Joel Ward is looking to take himself. Goes back towards Cheku Kuyate. Real pressure there from Chelsea as the ball is played square to Gary Cahill. Now it's with Van Aanholt down the left-hand side, playing it back towards Vincente Gaeta. Plays it square to Cheku Kuyate, back to Vincente Gaeta. And he looks up, plays a long ball down the middle, headed up in the air by Christian Benteke. Now it's with Jordan Ayew. Ayew running towards the edge of the area, and in the end the ball just got away from him. And Edouard Mendy comfortably out to claim that one for Chelsea. Rush here from the goalkeeper to clear his lines as well. Chelsea will certainly be looking just to try and slow things down, just to frustrate Palace for a minute or two, just to ensure that they can keep possession here and not concede a second. But long ball played down the middle. It very nearly got through to Christian Pulisic, but Cahill is there first. He goes back towards Gaeta. Clearance from the goalkeeper now up towards the halfway line. Headed back by McCarthy and then back by Joel Ward. What are Palace doing there? In the end, Gaeta had to rush out and clear that one, or at least stop it going towards his own penalty area. But that was very risky play. First of all, from McCarthy, just a high header back towards the edge of his own box, and then Ward carrying on that trend of the headers back towards goal. Very nearly picked off by Chelsea, but in the end, Palace were just about able to clear their lines. Chelsea come again now down the right-hand side with Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's back in towards Aspilicueta. Plays it square to Mateo Kovacic. Side now for Christian Pulisic. That's a really good ball in for Havertz. Havertz with the left-footed strike, but it's well saved by goalkeeper Gaeta. There's more placement rather than power from Havertz on this occasion. Fairness that the goal he scored was similar as well. He certainly didn't go for too much power, but that was too easy for the goalkeeper. Pretty much hit it straight down the middle. On to Chelsea down the right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi square now to Havertz. N'Golo Kante. Now Hudson-Odoi with a ball into the penalty area. Volleyed across goal by Mason Mount. Chilwell trying to keep it alive for Chelsea. Wasn't able to win it back, and Milivojevic now playing it back towards his own goal here. Kuyate clearing it towards the halfway line. Taken down now by Jeff Schlupp. Schlupp crossing the halfway line, plays it forward. It's cleared out, or at least blocked by N'Golo Kante. See this chance again from Havertz. Puts his laces through it. Technically it's a decent strike, but it's just never far away enough from the goalkeeper to really cause Vincente Gaeta any problems. It still bounced in front of the Palace keeper before he had to dive on the second ball. Now we were still getting replays of that Chelsea chance when at the other end Palace went on a quick attack, and there was a ball played in from the left-hand side, which eluded everyone inside the penalty area before going out for a throw to Palace. 69 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Crystal Palace trailing Chelsea by 3-1. So ball now back in Palace possession. No, that throw from Chilwell wasn't particularly good. Zaha heads it towards Jordan Ayew. Right on the right touchline here, being closed down by Chilwell and Kovacic. Trying to turn past Chilwell, and he does so. He manages to get a ball in as well, which is charged down. He gets a deflection off Joel Ward. Well, that's ironic. I mean, Joel Ward is... not sure if Joel Ward's been higher up the field than Jordan Ayew at any stage this evening, and on this one occasion he goes a little bit in front of Jordan Ayew, perhaps to give him an option on the overlap, and as Ayew was challenged, the ball deflects off Joel Ward and it goes out for a throw to Chelsea. Real frustration there for Palace, as they've had to work so hard to get any kind of attacking possession in this game. Now the throw from Chelsea again from Chilwell wasn't particularly good. McCarthy's able to get on the end of that and then forced to throw back in Palace's favour. Ward waiting to take it. So Jordan Ayew back to Joel Ward, gets a cross in, which is stopped by Ben Chilwell. Avoids it going up for a corner, but it will still be a throw. Palace still able to keep at least some pressure up here in these last couple of minutes. The ball now thrown towards Jordan Ayew. Does to get a cross in, which gets into the penalty area, but it's easily cleared by Antonio Rudiger. And the ball now cleared towards the halfway line. Kuyate is tracking back, and he needed to because there were two Chelsea players charging after that ball as well. He plays it back to Gaeta though. Gaeta now with the ball up towards the halfway line. Ward under pressure, having to go back to Kouyaté. Kouyaté's pass is headed away by Antonio Rudiger. The ball is on the right-hand side here with Jordan Ayew. See that the second half heat map shows 19% in front of Chelsea's goal, 24% in front of Palace's goal, 57% in midfield. But now a great ball out towards the right-hand side for Mason Mount. Mount is trying to get a shot away because two Palace players are closing him down. The strike is deflected away from goal. Gaeta never needed to make a save. Wilf Zaha is now back at the edge of his own box trying to sweep up, and he does. Clears the ball towards the halfway line, just over the head of Benteke. And Chelsea are back in possession with Antonio Rudiger. Now it's N'Golo Kante to Cesar Azpilicueta. As Mason Mount finds Callum Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi's side now towards N'Golo Kante. Tries to play a quick 1-2 there, Mason Mount with Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi gets stopped in his tracks. He's claiming a foul, and the linesman agrees with him. It is going to be a free kick to Chelsea now. But this last move, it was just a huge ball over the top. Mount had far too much space on that right-hand side, but then maybe he took a touch or two too many. With the Palace players closing him down, and then it was a good block sliding in from Gary Cahill. Ball now back on the halfway line, but it's Chelsea in possession. Kante to Azpilicueta. Out towards the right-hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Ball down the right channel, finds Mason Mount. Mount with the ball across the 6-yard box, and diving in there was, it looks like it was Christian Pulisic, but he couldn't get on the end of it, and then the ball is cleared back into midfield, taken down by Benteke. Did well actually, because it was a ball coming down from a long, long way. Really well to trap that and then play it back towards Joel Ward. Hold up the pressure, still able to get a ball down the right-hand side, but that's blocked by Kurt Zouma. Chelsea now in possession with ball out from Azpilicueta towards the right-hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Heading towards the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi then finds Mason Mount. Mount back to Kante. It's with Kovacic back out towards the right-hand side for Callum Hudson-Odoi. His ball into the box is stopped. Chance here for Palace to try and clear their lines, and they probably will get a chance to clear their lines now, although Hudson-Odoi doing what he can to stop Van Aanholt trying to clear that straight away. Chelsea now realise that Palace are more up for it in the second half, but there's still a big mountain to climb. It's still 3-1 down. Chelsea's point of view, any balls played out for a throw, anything that slows down Crystal Palace's attacking intent has got to be a good thing, and this substitution that Thomas Tuchel is preparing is also potentially going to slow down Palace's attacking intent, with Reece James getting ready to go on. I'm pretty sure that's going to be for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's not had a bad game at all. He's had a good game, Hudson-Odoi, but I think that the idea now is that with 15 minutes or 16 minutes to go, as it stands, by the time Reece James gets on, it will be around 15 minutes to go. The idea is to just close up that middle of the pitch slightly, so they'll bring off an attacking player who's in that midfield four, and replace him with a defensive player, well, certainly more defensive-minded player in Reece James. So the ball now out towards the left-hand side for Mateo Kovacic. Leaves it off for Ben Chilwell. Under a bit of pressure going back towards Kovacic. Square now to N'Golo Kante. Kovacic again, across now towards Mason Mount, who has space to shape for the shot, but the shot is disappointing to say the least from Mason Mount. Gets underneath that one and lifts it a long way over the bar. Really looked like he was going to threaten the goalkeeper with that one. So Palace getting ready to take this goal kick, but Chelsea also getting ready to make this change. Changes are now confirmed. The first change is actually going to be a change for Palace in the meantime. I've seen that right. In fact, yeah. Well, this is a bit confusing because the Palace assistant has put up the board. That's because we didn't actually get to see the Chelsea assistant put up the board just before. So a confirmation that Callum Hudson-Odoi is coming off the field, and there's also going to be a change for Palace, which looks like Jordan Ayew is going to go off to be replaced by Andros Townsend. That's exactly what's happened. Ayew is off and Townsend is on. Big fan of Andros Townsend, I must admit. He's always one of those players that you just feel could create something out of nothing. Perhaps it's been an issue with consistency for him in recent times, but really got an excellent left foot, loves playing on that right-hand side. And certainly if Palace were to get some possession down that right, you think that Townsend will certainly be trying to do something with it. But for the time being, it's a free kick to Chelsea on the halfway line, and it's been taken quickly here by Mateo Kovacic. Squared to N'Golo Kante, under pressure from Milivojevic, goes back to Azpilicueta. First touch of the ball now for Reece James. Finds the pass to Kante, then Kante finds Mount, it does well to roll past Van Aanholt, gets to the edge of the area. It's got Reece James on the overlap, just prefers to go back to Kante. Kante then finds James. Back to Kante, goes square now to Mateo Kovacic. Chilwell there under pressure, trying to get a move started down the left-hand side, dispossessed, and now Townsend playing the ball back towards the goalkeeper Gaeta, taken down by Benteke. Milivojevic's pass is blocked by Rudiger. Towards the left-hand side for Christian Pulisic. Chelsea trying to keep the energy levels up. They know if they can get if they keep the scoreline as it is, they'll be in a very strong position. But they love a fourth goal just to be even more secure. As the ball is now played across, and they're going to get their chance now, Chelsea. And it's a second goal of the afternoon for Christian Pulisic, flying in at the far post. Substitute Reece James with a hand in this one as well. And it's disappointing from Palace, but Chelsea just at the opportune moment, they're turning up the tempo and getting their fourth goal of the evening. It was a ball that started on the halfway line with Antonio Rudiger. He found Mason Mount, far too much space for Reece James, puts a decent ball in, which actually gets a slight flick off Gary Cahill, which straightens the cross out slightly. But in any case, it was Pulisic really charging in at the far post. He was able to get there first and finish just before Gaeta got anywhere near the ball. And it's a good finish from Pulisic. It's a big goal that for Chelsea as well, because although they're already in a very strong position, with that fourth goal now, they'll feel as though things are very much in their favour. And it's going to be pretty much a nailed-on 3 points now for Thomas Tuchel's side. Roy Hodgson's men had that brief spell where they were starting to respond at the start of the second half. And now Chelsea regain a 3-goal lead. So Chelsea have their fourth goal of the evening, and substitute Reece James was involved in this one. He had the ball over on the right-hand side after a good run from Mason Mount, and the ball was then played across towards Reece James. He put a cross in, which initially got a deflection off Gary Cahill, heading towards the far post, just at the edge of the 6-yard box. It was a great response from Pulisic to arrive there first, just get there ahead of the defender and fire it from close range past the goalkeeper. Gaeta had no chance. So Chelsea back with a 3-goal lead. They now lead by 4-1. And Zaha's unhappy, just as I was giving that up there. There was a brief moment of attack for Palace. A ball put in from the right-hand side, which Zaha was looking to attack. But according to the referee, Michael Oliver, there was a push there from Wilfried Zaha, which has now been given as a free kick to Chelsea. And no surprise that Edouard Mendy really is taking a very long time, slowly. It's almost like he's asking each player individually, get up, get further up the field, get further up the field. Anything to try and get the odd second out of this match. Clearance now from Mendy, headed out for a throw to Chelsea down the left-hand side. Ben Chilwell waiting to restart play. It's a long throw from Chilwell, headed forward by Cheikhou Kouyaté. Ball now out for a throw. The right-hand side as Palace look. This one is Benteke, but he won't get on the end of it. Ball is cleared straight into the Palace half. There's a bit of a foul there from Cheikhou Kouyaté. Was he fouled? I don't think he was fouled, but I think Mason Mount may have been in an offside position when that ball was played. In any case, it is going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace now. Goalkeeper Gaeta steps up to take this one. See if his teammates get a little bit further forward. Clearance now from the goalkeeper. The right-hand side, played forward by Rudiger. Taken down by McCarthy. Under pressure, going back towards Kouyaté. Now it's with Schlupp. Schlupp playing it over towards the left-hand side now for Zaha. Zaha takes it down and he gets brought down by Reece James. James is protesting. Zaha's actually explaining on behalf of the referee, saying, well, you did trip me, so what are you complaining about? But so as we see, Zaha, well, I'd say that Reece James gets the ball, and as he's stuck his foot out to win the ball, Zaha has then tripped on it. Now, I suppose it's just a question of how you look at it. Is that always going to be a foul, or has Reece James won the ball and is he unlucky? I don't know. I mean, I think looking at those two replays, I would say that Zaha has perhaps drawn that free kick a little bit. I'm not saying he's died. I think he may have been brought down by the foot of Reece James, but I don't think there was any intent. I think James wants to win the ball there. And he did actually get to the ball first, but it's a free kick to Palace. And left-footed Van Aanholt and right-footed Milivojevic just standing over it. Milivojevic takes a short free kick, quick free kick to Zaha. Zaha breaks into the box, gets the ball in towards, looking to try and win a corner kick, and that's a big smile on Zaha's face. Isn't because he's got the decision he wanted, it's because he's got the decision that he didn't want, that the referee has given it as a goal kick to Chelsea, and it's just that sort of smile of frustration there from Wilfried Zaha, which we've seen a few times in this match already. Chelsea making their third and final change now, with Mateo Kovacic going off to be replaced by Hakim Ziyech. That's not the first change I would have expected with 8 minutes to go. So Kovacic is off, Ziyech is on. This may mean that they ask Mount, I would imagine it's Mount more likely than Pulisic to be asked to drop into that midfield three, so that Ziyech can go back into a more attacking role, which is his first really port of call in terms of where he would play on the field. The ball back with the Chelsea defence at the edge of their own penalty area. It's Kurt Zuma's ball out towards the right-hand side, but that's straight to Palace, and now it's Van Aanholt's cross into the penalty area, headed up in the air. Still a chance here as Joel Ward tries to head it towards goal, but there's Azpilicueta. He heads it back towards his own goalkeeper. Still a chance as that ball was being chased down, but it's now cleared, and it's back over at the edge of the Palace penalty area now with Gary Cahill. Looks up and then plays it back towards the goalkeeper, Vicente Guaita. He's over towards the left-hand side now. Milivojevic to Van Aanholt. Back inside his own half is Jeff Schlupp, but he's dispossessed. Chelsea now back in possession here with Hakim Ziyech, just rolling the ball to Kai Havertz. Back to Ziyech, back to Havertz. Now Ziyech finding Ben Chilwell on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. He lifts the ball into the box, taken down by Reece James. He plays it back to the edge of the area, and now a chance here for the strike. The strike coming in from Mason Mount is blocked. Second ball back with Reece James on the right-hand side. Couldn't get across, and this time goes back towards Cesar Azpilicueta. Antonio Rudiger now with the ball towards the right-hand side. So much space here for Reece James. The flag doesn't go up. James plays it short to Havertz. Havertz towards the edge of the area, looking for Hakim Ziyech, but that one is cleared away. Zaha now trying to start a move down the left-hand side. He wants a free kick for the foul from Azpilicueta, and Michael Oliver agrees. And Zaha's still not happy. I'm not sure. Maybe he felt that though Azpilicueta deserved a yellow card for that, which maybe he did. It did seem like there was a bit of intent from the Chelsea captain, as in he had no interest really in going after the ball. I think he only wanted to stop the man. And the ball now played back towards the left-hand side here, Patrick Van Aanholt. Back towards the edge of his own penalty area here for Gary Cahill. Square to Vicente Guaita, and the ball now played back towards Kiate. Guaita being closed down. It's last time to clear it though, straight down the middle. Headed forward by Benteke, taken down here by Andros Townsend. He's hardly had a touch since he's come on the field. Wilfried Zaha was still coming back from a previous offside position, and that ball never even had a chance to reach him, and already Chelsea were appealing the offside. As soon as Zaha touched the ball, the flag goes up. Now Kurt Zouma is down on the ground, and he's holding his face. Now what happened to Zouma here? Was he caught by Benteke? Oh, he was, but it wasn't with the elbow, it was more with the hand really, as Benteke jumps. He just catches Kurt Zouma in the face there. And Zouma just needs a moment to pick himself up. It didn't seem like there was anything too serious in that one, although he's still looking towards the referee. He's unhappy. Then he's unhappy with Benteke as well. He gives him almost like a begrudging high five there. And the ball is now back in play. Here is Edouard Mendy, who's had to pick the ball out of the net and pick up a couple of crosses and a couple of headers back. That's pretty much his job throughout the entire 86 minutes we've had so far this evening. Very quiet evening for the Chelsea keeper, but he might have some work in now as Jeff Schlupp picks up a loose ball in midfield. He's passed towards Zaha on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Was just a little bit under hit though. Hakim Ziyech now in possession for Chelsea. Ziyech leaves the ball for James. Back in now to Havertz. He goes across towards Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger playing it forward. Runs straight into trouble there in the form of Jeff Schlupp, but Chelsea still in possession. It's good work that from Kurt Zouma as well, just standing his ground as Benteke was trying to win the ball back there for Palace. Played across now to Reece James down the right-hand side, inside to Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech shreds the ball through to Havertz. We're going to get a fifth goal here for Chelsea. Well, I'll tell you what we should have done, because Havertz on the run, running in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and he rolls that ball straight down the middle to Vicente Gaeta. It was almost like a pass back to the goalkeeper from the 80s when they were still out to pick it up. It was very, very tame from Havertz. I'm not really sure why he did that. I mean, it was on his, well, I think it was on his weaker right foot, but even so, he should have got a bit more power behind that. You see a replay again to see if he was trying to perhaps place it. It didn't quite work out for him. Chelsea in possession inside their own half with Mason Mount, who has dropped into that midfield three after the arrival of Hakim Ziyech, who came on for Kovacic. It's with Antonio Rudiger inside to N'Golo Kante. Christian Pulisic getting the ball out towards Reece James down the right-hand side. James has broken into the penalty area. Oh, he tries to strike. He didn't see any option to get a pass in. It deflects off Patrick Van Aanholt and into the arms of the goalkeeper. No problems in the end for Vicente Gaeta with this one. It was a decent ball in. We're getting a replay of that chance. It was off his weaker right foot, Kai Havertz. So that might explain why the shot was as tame as it was. But even so, he would have liked to have done a bit more with that one. It's interesting that the first thing he did when he saw that shot go straight to the goalkeeper, turned and faced and to look at the linesman as if to say, please say I was offside, almost as if that would have somehow wiped out the memory of that particularly poor effort. But it's been a good performance from Kai Havertz this evening. Certainly wouldn't like to think that was something that sums up his evening. He's had a good game. He's had a very difficult start here in England. There was a period still under Frank Lampard where you could almost toss a coin as to which of the two big German stars that struggled to bed in the most, Werner or Havertz. I think there was a time where both of them were struggling, but Werner still looked that little bit more accomplished. Now both of them are discovering a bit of form. It's been a good performance from Havertz today as the ball is played across towards Ben Chilwell down the left-hand side. Chilwell trying to thread the ball in towards Hakim Ziyech. That's good work though from Gary Cahill to win that ball back for Palace. Comes out towards Townsend and then back to Joel Ward. Clearance to the halfway line, taken down by Benteke. McCarthy now going towards Andros Townsend. He gets stopped though, and the ball now back with Chelsea, specifically with Azpilicueta. Moving the ball forward out towards the left-hand side. Back in towards Kurt Zouma. Zouma steps forward. No rush though in what Chelsea are doing in terms of keeping possession, and no rush from Palace in terms of trying to close them down too much and then sort of pressing a little bit. I think with the scoreline being what it is, Palace know they're losing this game. It's just a case of being professional until the last minute. Always showing that effort, always trying to win that ball back, never give your opponent anything for free. But Chelsea have slowly moved forward now. They've got some space down the left-hand side as Chilwell puts the ball in. Hakim Ziyech missed it completely. I mean, he's very much a left footer playing on the right-hand side, but he was unable to get either foot to that ball when it was played across to him. Just seemed to nutmeg him as he tried to hit it with his weaker right. Good ball in from Chilwell. A really good ball in from Chilwell. And Ziyech just a little bit frustrated there, as did Pulisic, who was expecting a pass perhaps from his teammate. Pulisic having a great game this evening, already having scored twice. I'd love to be able to complete his hat-trick. We're into injury time at the end of this game. 2 minutes have been added to the end of this game, which doesn't surprise me. We've not had too many stoppages in the second half, which has been confirmed now by Graham Scott, our fourth official. Now with Luka Milivojevic on the halfway line. With Van Aanholt down the left, and he has Zaha just ahead of him. Zaha now looking to get across into the penalty area, lifts it. Oh, that's a poor cross though from Will Zaha in the end. In danger of any Palace player getting on the end of that one. The ball now out for a Chelsea goal kick. We've got just over a minute of injury time still to play. And it's been a very good response this first league game, of course, is that first defeat for Thomas Tuchel, losing last week home to West Brom by 5 goals to 2. They're going to win 4-1 this evening. They've looked very good at times, Chelsea. Perhaps just a bit of a drop-off in the second half, but they'll have one eye on that game against Porto. And again, as I mentioned in the first half, they're in a strong position there as well, Chelsea, having won 2-0 in the away leg. Certainly fancy their chances of getting out of that quarter-final game and advancing on to the semis. It would be a real bonus for Chelsea, who have still, of course, got very much intentions of finishing in the top 4. They will be in the top 4 with a win this evening. Just a point behind Liverpool, and this is their game in hand, having Liverpool, after seeing Liverpool beat Villa in the earlier game this evening. Maybe one last attack from Palace. They get stopped at the edge of the area. Specifically, it was Jeff Schlupp. He got dispossessed. Now Mason Mount brings the ball forward for Chelsea, finds Hakim Ziyech. Back to Mount into the final seconds of injury time now. Ziyech still carrying on his run, getting towards the edge of the penalty area, being stopped by Patrick Van Aanholt. The referee could give a free kick. Doesn't bother giving the free kick because now the game is all over. Michael Oliver calls time, and it's been an impressive performance this evening from Chelsea, who started well and led 2-0 inside the first 10 minutes through Havertz and Pulisic. Then Zuma got another goal before half-time to make it 3-0. Response from Palace with Benteke getting what ends up now being a consolation on 63, and then the final goal for Chelsea, second of the evening for Christian Pulisic. That's it for this independent off-tube studio commentary. More commentary coming up tomorrow across all 4 games of the Premier League. But for now, thank you very much, and do join us again soon.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our